Hey guys, welcome back to my new video. In this video, I would like to discuss one of the key concepts in object-oriented programming, which is inheritance. So inheritance is a fundamental concept in object-oriented programming. It allows a class to inherit traits from another, similar to how a child inherits from parents. For example, let us consider a vehicle. Generally, a vehicle is something which is used for transportation. Under vehicle, we have many types like bikes, autos, buses, helicopters, etc. All these come under vehicle. Ultimately, here the vehicle is just used for transportation. So the vehicle represents the class which acts as a blueprint through which we can create new objects according to our requirements. So this mechanism promotes code reusability and establishes clear relationship between classes. So what is inheritance? Inheritance lets a new class acquire properties and methods. This new class is called a child class. Like we have discussed earlier, the parent class or the main class is represented as vehicle, and the child class or subclass can be called as bike, auto or bus. So here, as I have already mentioned, the original class is known as the parent class, or it can be also called a superclass, but the inheritant class is called as child or subclass. Here we have another example. For example, animal. It is representing the parent class, and the dog, which inherits the traits like an animal, is represented as child class. Here we can take another example like cat, tiger, lion, etc. So in this video we will just try to understand what is single level inheritance, just basics, not going very deep into it. So in single level inheritance we have only two classes, or only single parent class and single child class. It is the simplest form of single level inheritance. In this, a single child class inherits from a single parent class. The child class directly acquires members of the parent class. This creates a straightforward connection between them. For example, a class car inheriting from a vehicle class. It is easy to understand and implement. Like in vehicle there is a car and it has four tires and headlights, etc. So accessing parent class elements in single level inheritance. Generally, there are different types of members or different ways to access members of a class. Here we have three types of members like public members. Public members are those arguments or parameters which we can directly access by using the child class. Protected members. Protected members are accessible within the parent class and its subclass, whereas private members are not directly accessible. They have separate methods. There are separate methods to access the private members which are represented in the parent class or subclass. So benefits and considerations. So what are the benefits that we can get by using inheritance concept in object-oriented programming? First one, or the main advantage, is that code reusability. We need not to write larger codes or lengthier codes in our program. Child classes can leverage parent functionality, saving the development time. It also improves maintainability. Changes in the parent class automatically reflect in children, simplifying updates and bug fixes. It also has potential complexity. Overuse can lead to deep complex hierarchies. This may make the code harder to understand. To avoid this, we can use the inheritance concept in our program. It also has enhanced extensibility. We can easily add new features or remove features from child class or parent class according to our requirements by saving our time. So let us try to understand single level inheritance with one example in our code editor. So guys, to understand the inheritance concept, first let us try to create a class. So here I am creating a class which has a name animal, and here I am creating a method or a function called speak, and here I am writing a default parameter called self. Now what is self and why we need to use it? So self is basically a keyword which is a default parameter which we need to mention in the methods which are declared under a class name. So whenever we create an object and try to access the method which is in the class, the self keyword tells the interpreter that an object is created to this particular class and trying to access the method and the statements which are in this method to the interpreter. So self is a default parameter which we need to write in every method. So here I am just writing a print statement like animal is a living thing. So declaration of a class has been completed. Now let's try to access the speak method by creating an object. So here I am creating an object D by using the syntax like object name is equal to class name. So if we want to access the speak method, we just need to write the object name dot notation and we need to write the method. So now let's try to run our code. So as you can see here, the animal is a living thing statement has been printed, which is mentioned in the speak method under class animal. So now let's try to understand the single level inheritance concept. So in single level inheritance concept, we need another class which is called as child class. So here I am creating a child class like dog. So in this parenthesis, as we are using inheritance concept, we need to write the name of the parent class through which the child class inherits the traits or properties. So under this I am creating a new method called as sound. So I am writing the same self parameter which is default, and here I am writing the print statement like dog barks. So now let's try to create an object by using child class this time. So as I have created an object called D for the child class dog, now let's try to access the method sound and try to see the output. As you can see, we have got the statement like dog barks. Now it is just like the previous concept. Now what is the use of writing this statement dog and in the parenthesis animal? So here as you can see, I have created an object for the child class, but I want to access the statement which is in the speak method under class animal. So for that we can just write d dot method which we want to access from the parent class. As you can see, speak. So now let's try to run our code. As you can see, in first line it printed dog box, which we have given here d dot sound, which printed the statement. And when we wrote d dot speak, it just goes into the speak method which is under animal class, and the statement has been printed. Let us say if you want to create another child class which inherits the same traits from the parent class. So in this single inheritance concept, we can create any number of child classes to acquire the traits from the parent class by using the same syntax. So here I am creating another child class named lion, and I am inheriting the traits from the parent class animal. So here I am defining another method, say forest for example. I am just declaring a random method just to see what we can do by using this concept. So in this statement, in this print statement, I am writing the line like lion is the king of the forest, for example. So the declaration of another child class has been completed. Now let us create another object to the child class lion this time, and let's say if we want to print the statements which are in the class lion and also in the class animal by using the d1 object, we just need to write the statements like d1 dot forest and also d1 dot speak. Let us try to run our code and see the output. So here as you can see, first the lion is the king of the forest has been printed as the statement is under the lion class, and animal is a living thing statement has been printed which is defined in the animal class. In this way we can use single level inheritance concept in Python. I hope this video is very informative to understand what is single level inheritance and how we can use it. So this is it for the video. Thank you, and let us meet in our next video.